Hello everyone, welcome back to another session of Demo Mondays. Demo Mondays is presented by me, Augustas Kligis, and it is a Monday video series where I invite co-founders, founders, and creators of different Amazon seller software tools, and I ask them to present those tools here on the screen. So my next guest is My PPC Pal. And My PPC Pal is presented by the founder, Chris Nowak. Hello, Chris.
Hey, Augustus. How are you doing?
Nice to meet you. It's a very new software, and I'm very interested to hear what is it about. So could you share with the audience what My PPC Pal is and what problems does it solve for Amazon sellers?
Yeah, so My PPC Pal is a Amazon sponsored products automation tool. So we allow the sellers to come in and either they can select one of our preset formulas for optimizations if they're not really familiar with all the ins and outs of Amazon PPC, or if they're a little bit more into it, they kind of have their own methods that they use anyway, but they're just looking to automate that task. They can create their own custom formulas.
All right, and what marketplaces do you cover at this point?
Currently, we're focusing on just .com. We're really doing a lot of user enhancements and things like that. So we're focusing on the biggest marketplace for now, and then once we kind of feel we've got everything comfortable here, we're going to start expanding to the other marketplaces.
And what kind of users are you targeting? What kind of sellers? High volume, low volume?
So we have our beta group was all really high volume sellers. So we wanted to stress test the system. But we have a lot of users now that are brand new. They're on their first product. It's definitely for anyone who's looking to either automate the task. So that would be, maybe your business is getting larger. The tasks are building up. You're trying to maybe you're thinking about hiring a virtual assistant or try to add more softwares to help, kind of hand off these tasks off of your back. Or for the brand new seller, and maybe they're just getting into it. Maybe they're struggling with PPC. They don't know, what to pause, what to lower, what to raise on their bids. They might not even know where to find the negative search terms on their keywords. We've had users like that, or they know where they are, but it takes so much time to go through that report and analyze which keywords are good, which keywords are bad. So we can automate that task for them too. So it becomes much easier. And so really, anyone that's, spending money on pay-per-click, we can help them out.
I like that you have tested your system on a high volume data. So it's very important. And of course, when you want to use your software, you have to link your seller account. How does it work? Is it fast? And how long do you need to pull the first data?
So once we are connected, the data pull only takes usually 30 minutes. The longest it's taken for the really large accounts is about an hour. So if you have 100 plus SKUs, it could take, and then 100 plus campaigns with all the keywords, it could take up to an hour, but in most cases, it's about half an hour. We do manually accept each invite from users into the system. So that's as you're signing up, you don't have to send multiple invites. I'll say that we see people send multiple invites. So one of our techs actually accepts your account. So there's humans involved in this too. So it's just not totally a robot in the sign-up process where they're kind of to support the users as they onboard, but we're also accepting those invites from them. So,
all right. So let's look what you have inside your software.
Okay. So this here is the dashboard. This dashboard gives you kind of a brief overview of what's going on with your Amazon PPC. So the above graphs will kind of show your spend by day, your sales, your ACoS, and any of these graphs at the top, you can click on them and they'll enlarge. You can change the days. So if you want to look at 30-day period instead of 7 days, You can go to a custom. So let's say I just want to see how I did in January. And so then you can kind of see that, the data by the day. This is just like a giving you an overview of what's going on. And then down here we have our performance by reports. So you can look at specific campaigns, see how the ACoS is doing, the spend, the sales, the impressions, kind of everything that you need to get an overview of your Amazon spend. You can look at the ad groups. You can also drill it down to like just a keyword. All these too, you can click the view more. It's going to enlarge. And the same thing here, you can change this. So it's, I just want to look at a week, 30 days, 90 days, year to date, custom range. And then you can kind of look at each word. You can sort in here. So, maybe you want to find what is the one keyword that I'm getting the most sales from. And so we can tell you that information. And we'll tell you all the other information too, the cost per click, the click-through ratio, the number of clicks, number of impressions. You can search here for a specific keyword. So if you just started bidding on something new and you're wondering how that one's doing, you can kind of type in anything here and we'll find that. So that's the dashboard really. It just gives you an overview of kind of what's going on. We built this tool to be an automation tool. So, we call some of our best users, we call them our best users, but they haven't logged into to My PPC Pal for like 2 months. That's just because it's doing its job, it's automating for them, and it's working. So when you do come back in, we like to just kind of give you a quick overview of everything that's going on. Then your My Campaigns, this is kind of where you are going to set everything up here. So each of your campaigns is going to be shown over here. When you first start, they're going to be turned off. So they'll be like this. You got to turn them on. And then once it's on, you'll be able to kind of set your rules. This is kind of what I mentioned where you can come down here and you can say, basically, I don't know what a good ACoS is for my product. I don't know when I should raise the bids or lower the bids or any of that. So you can choose kind of one of these 3 preset formulas. So we call them basically recommended, conservative, aggressive. And this is just kind of a way that if you think about your advertising spend, so you might want to use aggressive on a brand new product that you're launching and you've only got 2 reviews and the competitor's got 200. You definitely want to be more aggressive with your ad spend to try to get the rank going. And then maybe once you're ranking, on page 1, you can go to our recommended setting. And if you're on a budget, you're trying to save a little bit more money, then we would consider you conservative, on your ad spend. So these are just kind of preset formulas that will help you if you are just completely lost, with your Amazon spend, or you're brand new and you're not sure what to do. And then for our more advanced users that kind of like to have full control of exactly the rules, we have this here, the custom. And so what the custom allows you to do is it will allow you to kind of come in here and put in your own formulas, really. So here, let's see. So these are ones preset here in this. Let me move this. In this demo account we have built here, and so really, so each box is going to give you a direction of what it is. So if you just read the boxes, this one says any individual keyword which reaches this ACoS will be paused. So this means, if you're bidding on something and let's say you don't want any keyword to ever go over, in this case, it would be 60%. You just put 60 in here, but you can really change this to anything. So if you're shooting for a really low ACoS, let's say 20%, you don't want to put 20% in here because if you look at any campaign over time, you'll see keywords that are maybe 45, then you'll see keywords that are like at 1%, 5%. They're all mixed, and then like the blended rate turns out to be your 20%. So like we actually had a user that just reached out to us yesterday. They're using around this number, and they're getting about a 31% ACoS. So this isn't like your target ACoS here. This is where an actual individual keyword will stop. So, but the nice part about this is you can, set it at 60 and let it run for a month. And see where your ACoS is, and if it's a little high or a little low, you can just come in here and say, okay, I put 60 in here, it's coming in around 31, I want it to be 25, so let me try 50, and then you can change that. So I'll go through kind of each box here now. So, if you had 60 in here, you don't want to put 55, because this is at the point where we're going to start lowering the bid. So, the bid will be lowered on in any individual keyword which reaches this ACoS. So if you put 55 in here, the idea is that we want to lower the bid before it gets to the point of pausing. So if you put 55, there's not that much room for error in there, or like room for optimizations to happen. So, I would put like a 40 in here. And so that way we have 20% in between the pause level. We can start lowering the bid. Maybe we can correct that keyword for you and actually drive some sales at a decent cost. The raise bids, this is for your very best keywords. So, maybe you have some that are at 7-8%. And you often you'll see that on these really low ACoS, maybe you're not bidding the recommended bid from Amazon, which means that your competitors are probably outbidding you, which means you're probably losing some of those top spots where your ads are shown, and basically you could possibly drive more sales. So for your very best keywords, you can raise the bids. We'll raise the bids very slowly. The negative keywords, this is for your customer search terms. And so what we recommend is whatever you put over here in the pause word is kind of the same thing. So the customer search term is actually what the customer is typing in. So, you may be bidding on spatula as a keyword, but the customer is typing in red wooden spatula. And so that's the customer search term. Then spend without a sale. So these are kind of all basically you're spending money on these keywords, but you're not getting any sales. So we like to limit those things. So, $10 is the example here, but if you're bidding, let's say $3 a click, that's only 3 1/3 clicks. So you don't want it to be $10 if you're bidding $3. You want to give it some time there. And then the next one is the lower bid. Same rule here. You don't want to put $9 in here, because there's no room to start lowering the bid till it hits the 10 and pauses. So, at least put a 7 in here if you're going to put 10 over here. Same thing, negative search terms, customer search terms. We usually just suggest to match the spend without a sale on the keywords for the search terms. And then clicks without a sale. This is like another way to look at it. So maybe you're only bidding 25 cents, right? And so to get to that $10 is going to take a lot of clicks. So you want to cut off some of those keywords, because they're just not converting if they're getting a bunch of clicks without any sales at all. You're just spending money, really. So you can, you don't want to put a really low number in here. Like if you would put 5 or something, you're not really giving that keyword enough time to show. So give it some time in here. You can put this as high as you want. And the same thing here. You don't want to put this at 14, because then there's only one click in between that we wouldn't have a chance to lower the bid. Over here, again, the customer search term, same thing. We just say, kind of match here. Impressions per click. So this is we thought it was an easier way to think about your click-through percentage, rather than pulling out a calculator and doing the division and then calculating the percentage. So really, this is how many times can your ad be shown before you get one click, and then that turns into a ratio. So basically, we're saying here that your ad will show 1,249 times, and if it gets a click, you're okay. But if it hits 1,250 without a click, we're going to pause that keyword. And then we're going to look to the same thing, lower the bids before it reaches that point of pausing. So you give it a little margin to start optimizing here. So we have 1,000 in this example. The negative keywords over here, same thing, just match what you put in the regular keywords. And that's a good starting point. So then if you look back on all these are the lower bid rules here. And then this is the percentage we're going to lower it. So this is kind of, I like to tell people it's like you fire quickly and hire slowly. So we're going to basically, if they're starting to go bad, we want to lower the bid pretty significantly. You don't want to have like 1 or 2% in here. So 20% is a good amount. So that means if you were bidding $1 and it falls under one of these rules, we're going to reduce that down to 80 cents. And then you want to raise slowly. So these are like your very best keywords that are performing well. And so if they're performing well, we want to raise it just a little bit and kind of test that. So in this example, you're bidding $1. This is only going to bump it up to $1.03, and just kind of test that and see if you can get more impressions with that higher bid. And then this is your minimum and your maximum bid that you're comfortable with. Anything under, 10 cents is probably not even going to yield many impressions at all or even clicks. So I would say the lowest should be 10 cents, but you can go as low as you want. There's some niches that I may not know about where you can get clicks for a nickel. And then your maximum bid. So this is really what, if you're comfortable with only $1 as your maximum bid, you put $1 in here. And so that's basically, you're setting up your fully custom campaign rules. And then you can go back and you can always adjust these. So if one thing wasn't working, or maybe it's working great, but you just want to lower your ACoS a little bit, you'll come back and, lower this and then try that.
Chris, can you save different templates of your configuration?
So what you can do, so once this is saved, you will be able to copy this. And let's say you want to also try it on this campaign down here. So you can paste it down here. Or you can say, I want to try this. This template works great. I want to try it on my entire account. So you can paste it to all of them. And then what you can do too is, let's say you adjust this. Let's say you tried 60 in January. Now you're trying 50 as an experiment in February. February goes by and you're like, the 60 worked better, but you can't remember what you had. So you can go back to your log, and we're going to show you kind of like all your changes over time here. So you can see what it was, as long as you've had an account, basically. You can go back and look, my maximum bid, it used to be $3, and that kind of worked better. $3.50, I'm getting a higher ACoS, so let me change that back to $3. And you can come back here and, type it in and just click apply. So right now we don't have where you can build your own templates. That's something we are going to work on. So you'll be able to name them and whatever and experiment with them. But for right now, you can copy at least from one and paste to another. Then the other log we have on here. So basically these are the changes. The log 1 are the changes you made within your My PPC Pal account. So these are all your rules, if you just set it to one of these basically recommended, all it's going to say is in here is that you set, the old rule was 10 and the new value is recommended. And then the log 2, these are the changes that once you've set your rules, we've kind of automated for you. So these will show you kind of what happened and the reason why it happened. So the status used to be enabled, but the spend was greater than the spend pause with no orders. So that's kind of this rule we were talking about here. So it went over, probably in that case, it would have been your $10, so it went over $10 spend without any sales. So, we paused it for you, and you can kind of go through and see everything we've done. So you can see, the maximum bid, we reduced that one there. Drop this to show down more, and you'll eventually see where we did the negative search terms and stuff in here. So yeah, see, we added some negative exact search terms in here. And so basically allows you set your rules and we'll kind of automate the whole thing. So that's kind of your My Campaigns in a whole. If you guys are setting it up and you have questions on this stuff, feel free to reach out. We're glad to help.
And you mentioned negative keywords. How do you control that through your application?
So we use the customer search term report, and we look, based on these rules, we look for anything that falls within these negative rules. So if the example I gave was the red wooden spatula, red wooden handle spatula, or whatever it is. So you're bidding on wooden spatula, or you're bidding on spatula, and let's say spatula is converting and black spatula is converting and green spatula is converting, but red spatula is not converting, and customers are typing that in. So you want to eliminate that customer search term. So basically, if anything on the customer search terms shows up within these rules, we are going to take that customer search term and we're going to add it to the negative exact match for that ad group that word was in. And so then you're basically eliminating the red spatula, but you're still bidding on all that other stuff that was converting. So it's going to help that keyword over here have a better ACoS because you're cutting kind of the garbage search terms out.
Okay, so it's automatic. You don't need to do anything manually.
No, yeah, you don't need to do anything. Ours is all about we're all about automation. So we let you set your rules. You can adjust them over time as you see fit, but kind of once they're set, you don't have to worry about it. We take over from there. If you ever want to see like the raw data that we're getting from Amazon or what the changes we're making, we kind of log that all here. So these are just your reports we're downloading from Amazon that we're basically applying all your rules to. And then once we've applied the rules, we're going to send that information back to Amazon. And these are basically the files that we're uploading back to Amazon with those changes on them. Your settings are just going to be, about your account. You're going to enter your credit card. You'll be able to see statements here on what you were charged. And then, this will tell you kind of like what you're on your next billing cycle. We bill on the number of SKUs you're advertising on. And so this will tell you how many SKUs you're currently advertising on. We just give you the number of keywords just so, if you're interested to see that, but that doesn't determine pricing at all. You can have as many keywords as you want. And then what your price is here. So that's kind of it in a sense. Oh, we do have, the help section too. So we have instructions on, how to set up your account here. If you do get stuck, how to find your seller name, adding a payment method. We have some videos on here on kind of what I went over. So yeah, your My Campaign, setting up your first campaign, all this here. And then we have our FAQ. So if you do get stuck, check this out first. But we're always available to help. So that's pretty much it. You'll get alerts here. So if you ever have any alerts, this is like your credit card expires or something that's important, we'll give you an alert here.
All right. Thanks. Can we go through the pricing?
Yeah. So the pricing starts at $49, and that will get you up to 10 SKUs. So that's for the newer sellers. And then we go as high as we want. We only have plans listed up to, I believe, 250 SKUs on the website, but it's called our enterprise plan. Our enterprise plan scales really. We have users that have over 2,000, 3,000 SKUs. So we can scale to any size, and those large of accounts we do give special pricing to. So if you have a really large account, we can offer you some special pricing.
And in your account page, which you shared, you said that the pricing is according to the SKUs. Is it possible to tell that I don't want to apply your automation on certain SKUs?
So it's the number of advertised SKUs. So we are basically however many SKUs you are advertising that month, that's how we're going to bill you accordingly. So let's say you're seasonal and you sell 300 products in the fourth quarter, but then back, down to January, you're only selling 100 of those. So we will scale by the month with you according to how many SKUs you're advertising, or if you have SKUs that you don't even advertise because maybe you're selling a large brand that doesn't need advertisement. Maybe you sell Nike shoes also on your account, and that doesn't need advertising. We're not going to charge you for that unless you're actually advertising. But we don't have the only automate this one campaign, that type of thing. But what we do have a 30-day free trial for anyone, so you can kind of test it out. And we haven't had anyone actually that only wants to automate one campaign, and that once they see what it does, they're really happy with it. So they turn it on. So we haven't had enough requests really for that feature yet to enable it.
Yeah, I also imagine so that if someone doesn't have a clue about PPC, they will just want to automate everything.
Yeah.
And do you have any plan for features in the future?
Yeah. We're working on some really cool things. I can't say what everything is, but basically we're going to give you even more automation. The long-term vision is to make this the easiest platform for, running your Amazon PPC, to where you would come in and basically to set up a new campaign, you're just going to give us like 1 or 2 pieces of information and we're going to do everything from there for you. So that's the long-term vision of it. We're working on those currently. So we have a lot of new features coming out the first quarter of this year. And then also we're going to give you some better reporting on the dashboard. So people have asked, they want to see those graphs on different numbers, just not the top 3. So we are adding those in also in the next month or so here. So that's kind of, once we get all those things down, that's when I say we're going to expand to like the UK and Germany and all those other marketplaces.
Sounds good. And what kind of support do you offer? Email support, live chat support? How people can get in touch?
Yeah, so we have the best way to get a hold of us really is to email us support@myppcpal.com and use the email that you've signed up with. That way we can look into your account. We can see kind of what's going on if you have exact questions on it. You can get a hold of us on Facebook. We have Instagram. We have chats on there. I'm glad to Skype one-on-one if you're, setting up your account and you're really struggling. I've offered that to sellers too. So, and we're there in different ways, but really the best way, that the quickest way is the support@myppcpal.com from your email you signed up with. And because we have other techs too that are going to assist with that.
Sounds great. We didn't mention that you, Chris, are a 7-figure seller, right?
Yeah. So I've actually had an Amazon account since 2004, and I was selling used video games back then. And I kind of let that account rest forever, but I'm glad I opened it up back then, because now I have daily withdrawals on my payments from Amazon. But I started my private label brand in 2015. And within 12 months, I was at $1 million. And then from there, I've grown it since. And it's a larger account now. So
it's a great support for the customers, and of course, good backend for the software.
Yeah.
And the final question: do you have any offer for Demo Mondays viewers?
Yeah, I think we set something up. If you use the coupon code DEMOMONDAYS, DEMOMONDAYS, you are going to save 15% basically for the lifetime that you use the software. When you use that code, you still do get your 30-day free trial. So, go through your 30 days for free, see if you like it. If you want to continue, use that code DEMOMONDAYS, and you will save 15% off for life.
All right. Thanks a lot for presenting your new tool. Sounds really good, and it's interesting that it's backed up with your knowledge, so it's very useful.
Yeah, no, and feel free. I actually just had a seller reach out yesterday through our support thing, and he was just more asking about expectations, so they sent it over to me, and I jumped on Facebook chat with him and walked him through, and now I'm helping him launch a second product. So you do get that. It's like a bonus feature right now that you get. The knowledge of a 7-figure seller to kind of bounce ideas off around your PPC and growth of your business. So
great. So thanks a lot, Chris, and good luck in your business. Bye bye.
All right, thank you.